Hey guys, Coach Harris again. This is part 2 of reading. Hopefully you got that little bit of nugget about the big changes in ACT. So if you've seen any of our other videos we produced here at Sturge Creek High School or anything that maybe I've put out on the internet, when we're looking at the reading, we've got to break it down into 2 parts. We've got the nonfiction portion and we've got the fiction portion. So remember, we're going to take that first passage is always fiction. They may not call it that. I think they call it literary narrative. Set that off to the side and then attack the nonfiction portion. Now listen, if you are that reader that you just, you set a book next to your head and you just absorb it, this may not be for you. Who is this for? This is for that person kind of like myself. I'm a good reader, but I'm pretty methodical. I'm kind of slow. I can remember, but when it comes time to a standardized test, I may not be the best at reading, remembering, and then going to answer. So what are we going to do? We're going to skim. We're going to skim the passages. Remember, these passages are well written. They're not going to go across the street to a 6th grade writing ELA class that's just now learning how to write paragraphs, much less essays. They're going to be nice, formally written, non-fiction passages. Now, does that mean they're exciting? No, probably not. They're probably going to be incredibly boring. They may be about armadillos or natural gas or something like that. I mean, if it's something that you would relate to and you're super excited about, you'd be like, I got this. But usually it's not. Usually it's something that we sort of kind of disengage from. So instead of reading to remember and then answer questions, I would suggest if you're not the best reader or rememberer in the world, that you would skim in specific locations. Okay? So now we've got a skimming idea. Let's take that 10 minutes that we talked about in the last video per passage, and I want to look at 3 to 4 minutes of time skimming. Okay? As you get a little bit better at it, you want to be a little bit closer to that 3, maybe even a little bit quicker than that 3. We'll see what these passages look like, or whatever ACT puts out there for examples. Okay, and then the remaining amount of time would be for question and answer. So 3 to 4 minutes over here, and maybe 6 to 7 minutes over here for question and answer. Now, one thing to remember with the question and answer part. Okay, when we get to that part, if you've skimmed correctly, which next time we put together a video, we'll talk about the skimming strategy in a little bit more depth. But when we're thinking about the question and answer portion, remember there's 2 types of questions. We got findable. That means you know where to look and you can go find that. And then you've got theoretical or not findable. Okay, well, that's the type of question, everybody's been there before, okay, where you go to answer a question and you can't find the answer or you don't remember. What do? You go back and look through the passage. And you can't find it. And you look through the passage again because it may not be a simple question with a simple answer. All right, maybe a little bit more complexity to it. Okay, well, we want to do those last. Okay, so anyway, what do we take away from today? Break it down, break that the reading passage, nonfiction reading passage down in 2 parts. Your skimming part and then your question and answer part. All right, like I said, we'll get back into the nuts and bolts of how we skim next time we have a video, which should be tomorrow. Take care.